think I'm going to title this video RIP Kia Optima. And so today we're going to be taking a look at this great example of a Kia Optima. And this is a 2019 Kia Optima EX, and I think this is a good example. I love the design of this vehicle. I like the tires on this vehicle. They have good rubber, but good size rims. I think this is a good looking vehicle for its time. The K500 looks more modern and definitely looks better. And this design's been in place for like 10 years. It's been, updated, refreshed, but this vehicle served Kia well, and I know several people who've had these. I like the dual exhaust back here. And what's interesting is, seeing it from the front, you wouldn't think that the rear of this vehicle squared off, but I like that because it retains space. So it does have some curves, but not at the cost of interior space. And I actually have a friend of mine that has an Optima that I work with, and it's super spacious. And this trunk is no different. Very cavernous. You definitely have fold down seating back here, which I love. So if you have a family of 4, you have no complaints with the space in this trunk. So we'll just start there. It feels high quality. One thing I don't like about Kia is these cheap badges they make. I know 2000s Fords and Chevys and things like that with badges that don't fade. I remember seeing a Cadenza that was like 3 or 4 years old with a faded Kia badge, and that just didn't sit well with me. But I do think this is a good vehicle. I like the use of the chrome around the top of the windows, but I do not like that they use rubber here. If you're gonna use chrome, cut it off here and then put it at the belt line of the vehicle, please. Especially if you're gonna put it in the door. I don't know, maybe that'll look like it's too much, but we'll go ahead and start in the front seat. Let's get into the bread and butter off the rip. Again, I think this is a good trim. I'm not familiar with Kia's trims. This does have a 1.6 liter turbocharged engine, which I lament. That is the only drawback. I like their 2.4 liter with almost 200 horsepower, but we'll take a look. This glass feels solid in this window. Side note, very, very quality glass. This is soft touch. I love this laminated wood inlay. Yeah, these switches look good, super classy. They don't look cheap. They don't look like they're doing too much. This is not a luxury vehicle, but you still have memory seats. That cup holder is definitely functional, and you have Harman Kardon speakers. This seat, the driver's seat's electronic. We'll go ahead and hop in and see how comfortable it is. It is comfortable, and I'm over 6 feet, and I feel like I'm sitting a little bit too far back, so we're gonna move it up a little bit. While we do that, we'll take a look at the steering wheel. I don't like the design of this. I like the horn here. It looks like you have radar cruise control here in this vehicle. You have blind spot monitoring, lane departure warning. I love that you can pop the trunk with a button that's well placed. The hood release is easy. I feel like the steering wheel kind of juts out a little bit more than in other vehicles. This is a pretty standard steering wheel. I wish it had a flat bottom, but every car can't have a flat bottom steering wheel. This is a digital analog instrument cluster. I wish the analog was about twice the size, but I like the font on it. It doesn't look cheap. It actually looks kind of European a little bit, like they're copying Mercedes a bit. I like the inlaid screen here, even though it's not like a 20-inch widescreen like a lot of people like. I'm cool with this. I think this is a decent size. It's large enough, and I like that they didn't have this screen and dash be so, large and bulbous that you have little baby vents. This is a priority. It is hot where I live. It gets over 100 in the summers, so you need good venting. And you definitely have that in this vehicle. These buttons are super straightforward. You have navigation. Yeah, these buttons feel super high quality. Ease of use is here. Automatic climate control, modes. There's no guesswork here. Even with this stock, putting this car into drive, easy. You do have a heated steering wheel. And you have ventilated seats. Oh, man, I love that. So this is a very, very good trim. You can see that the dash bows out a little bit, but it doesn't intrude so much that you lose interior volume. And you have LED lighting here. And I love that you just have one button, and when you press it, both lights come on, because rarely do you lose something or need the lighting on in your car where you don't need both of these lights. So super practical. You got your sunglass holder here. These mirrors have lighting. I love the vent here is a decent size too. And this door closed very solidly. Again, this glass is super sturdy. Here's a look at the interior as a whole. You know what? I'm not even missing. I see they have plain stitching here. I don't even care that it's not in the door. But yeah, this is what a mid-size car should look like, a mid-size sedan. You have perforated seats back here. I like that. A ton of room in here. So you have your charge ports here. I don't know why we still have those traditional ports, but they're there. You have aux in, USB in. Yeah, I love this. Is super practical. If your vehicle is out of commission, you can release that to kind of release this and put the car in neutral so it could be towed or pulled. Love that. The cup holders here there's great placement, great size for them. You even have a little cubby for keys and different things you might have in your pocket, your wallet. You could even fit your phone in there. And then you have additional space in this cubby console right here. And this is comfortable. Feels a little light. Maybe a little chintzy, but anyway. I love this massive moonroof here. That's super dope. That'll let in a ton of natural lighting. But we'll go ahead and hop in the back seat, and then we'll take a look at the engine. The step-in height is pretty on par with other vehicles. This is soft touch here. I like that. This is soft touch. I love the continuity between the front and back seats. Those cup holders look like you can use them. In a lot of cars, that's not really a thing. Yeah, you have good space back here. This seat is pretty far back, and I still have good space for my feet and everything like that. I wear a size 13 shoe. I like that this is a hardback. Saves the leather. It won't sag 10 or 15 years from now. And then you have this mat pocket, which looks, you know, like it's out of a Suburban or a Tahoe, but that's okay. These seats are comfortable. They are a little stiff being leather. Yeah, they don't feel couch-like, so that's okay. You could seat 3 adults across. I wouldn't want to sit that way for long. You do sacrifice a little comfort with this stiffer leather. But yeah, it doesn't feel claustrophobic in here. It's interesting, that little window there is really not in a practical place where you can see out of it, but you know, helps with design, I guess. You even have LED accents here. So Kia did a very good job, and I know why this Optima sold well. I'm surprised that they created the K500 and didn't just move towards SUVs, but kind of glad they did. Yeah, overall, this vehicle has a very nice silhouette and profile. So, cannot complain. It wouldn't have held up for another 5 years, so they definitely needed to do the K500 because that's a completely different looking vehicle. All right, so under the hood is where the concern kind of begins. You have a 1.6 liter turbocharged engine. And I mean, this thing looks like it's a 2.5 liter, but you can see how, yeah, that's super questionable to me. Not that it can't power this vehicle. I'm sure it has a good output. I'll list the output in the video, but that's too small for this car. Probably weighs 3,400 pounds. 1.6 liters is just too small. I know Honda's doing it with their Accord. I'm still not a fan even in such a storied, reliable brand. But you do have access to the alternator here. There's plenty of room to work here. It looks like you just have one fan, which is interesting. And then you have your intercooler right here. Maybe you have an electronic fan in front of the intercooler. I'm not sure. But you have access to the air filter, the battery, all the fluids you need here. So that's not too bad. I don't trust that engine. I'm glad you have struts, but they probably made that change in 2019 to that engine. So overall, a good vehicle, save the engine. And I'll be honest, it does sit a little bit lower than your Camry or Honda Accord, maybe half an inch or an inch. So I wish it sat up a little bit. I mean, I'm sure that makes it a bit more sporty. You can just see the front end sits low, which I'm not a fan of in a traditional four-door sedan. So anyway, RIP Kia Optima.